There was some pretty big news recently breaking with regard to UFOs and how the government handles it and how they present it to the public and to the press. And you got to really give a hats off to the Black Vault and researcher John Greenewald Jr., who created the Black Vault, because he filed a FOIA request for a briefing card, and he received it. It was something that was prepared by the United States Department of Defense, an OSD briefing card. It was basically what it is talking points for anyone in the military to use, that they need to use when presented with certain questions. And I will leave a link for the video that John Greenewald posted on the Black Vault YouTube channel, and also a link for his website where he has this briefing card posted, and you could read it for yourself. And it gives different kinds of talking points that, you know, if someone's in the military standing at a podium and they're getting asked questions by the press, they give you they tell you what the talking points are, what they're allowed to say, and that's it. They can't really deviate from what's on this briefing card. We're just going to go straight down to the big. Let's get right to the meat of this. They give you they have some talking point, top line messages / talking points, and then later on beneath that they have questions and answers. And one of the questions that might be posed to them would be, has the department found any evidence of extraterrestrial technology? And the answer that they're supposed to give is, the examinations into incursions by UAPs are still ongoing. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. So they're not telling you what they know. And, usually when I see something like that, I think that means yes. Yes, they did find evidence, but they're not going to tell you about it. That's what that's saying. As far as I'm concerned, that's what that's saying. Now, on the Black Vault website, John makes he says he could argue that both ways, and that's true. You could, but I just don't. I mean, okay, if they didn't find any evidence, then they could just say simply no. We haven't found any evidence. That's because they can't say it, because they did find. They do know. They know. They've known for a long time. They're just playing this game with the public for years, and this just continues, at least for the time being. I still believe that what we've been experiencing the past 4 years, since 2017, when the Pentagon began admitting that these objects that were in these videos were things that they have no idea where they came from, and they defy the laws of physics, and they're still looking into it. I believe that this is the beginning of some kind of disclosure. It's a slow disclosure process that they initiated. And for the time being, this is the answer. Like if there's somebody standing at a podium for the Department of Defense, and he's asked a question, have you found any if I was a reporter and I'm standing in the crowd, I say, hey, have you found any evidence that these are extraterrestrials? The answer is going to be, the examinations into incursions by UAPs are still ongoing. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. Sorry. We can't say, basically. They're saying, we can't tell you. We're not going to tell you yes or no. I think that means yes. That's what it does mean. Well, actually, I know it means yes, because I know that they exist, and I know our Department of Defense has to know this, or we're in big trouble if they don't. So they do know this, and the answer to that question is really yes, even though they're not telling you. I mean, you got to be able to read between the lines. I'm reading between the lines. It says the examinations into incursions by UAPs are still ongoing. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. There's no comment. You're not saying whether you found extraterrestrial technology, evidence. You're not telling us. We don't comment on that. To me, that means, yeah. We're not going to comment. They're not saying yes, but that's what they're saying. They're not telling you anything. And then there was other potential questions that might be asked to DOD officials, like Do you have any comment on the remarks made by John Ratcliffe to Fox News about the forthcoming UAP report? And the answer to that would be, as he was the former DNI and ODNI has the lead on the UAP report, I refer you to ODNI. I mean, basically just, brush it aside, push it to somebody else, let them answer it. But yeah, you could read this whole report on here. But again, the most interesting aspect of this whole thing is that the scripted answer that the DOD officials are being told to make with regard to the extraterrestrial question. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. Let's say it again. I keep screwing that up. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. Basically, that's the answer. Okay. Let's think about that for a minute. Like over the years, I mean, a lot of times you heard, oh no, there's no evidence of extraterrestrials. Now the answer is the department does not comment on intelligence matters. Is there any evidence of extraterrestrial technology? The department, think about this. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. There you go. It doesn't take much to figure out what that means. I know what it means. It means yes. And it does mean yes. I mean, it's always meant yes. The answer to that question is yes. It's always. I mean, if that question was asked 25 years ago, and they would have said, no, we don't have any of that. We don't have any evidence. That would have been a lie. This is not a lie. They're just saying this isn't a lie. They're not lying. They're just saying, hey, we don't comment on intelligence matters. They're not lying. They're just not telling you anything. We're not commenting on intelligence matters. Period. That's next question, please. They're not saying, no, there's no such thing as extraterrestrials. That's crazy talk. No, they're saying now. Let's think about this again. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. The department does not comment on intelligence matters. Think about it. The examinations into incursions by UAPs are still ongoing. But we don't comment on this, though. So you're not going to say anything about... and if somebody was to follow up, so you're not saying yes or no about extraterrestrials being here? That these are operated by extraterrestrials? Next question, please. I think I've already answered that. Next question, please. So that's how they're being instructed to respond. So yes, it's very interesting. You can read this whole document for yourself. Now, apparently, this was an unclassified document, and you have to listen to the Black Vaults. John talks about it there, about how what this document really is, and he explains on how this document basically was given to all these people as different people in different departments as this leading up to this release of this UAP report, this Pentagon report, and they were told, okay, these are questions here's a list of some of the top questions you're probably going to get asked, and we're instructing you on how to answer them. But again, wow, this is something else. And actually, this wasn't some top secret classified document, and it was just something that they hand this out, and but they just don't hand it out to the press. I mean, it wasn't it really wasn't classified. So it wasn't classified. So, but still, he had to file a Freedom of Information request for this Freedom of Information request. FOIA request. John had to file a FOIA request for this, regardless. Because it wasn't something they were just handing out to the press to let the press know on how we're planning on giving you answers. But this is something else. This is something else. Again, like let's say somebody could have said, like you could change the question around a little bit too. Okay, have you found any evidence of extraterrestrials? The answer would have been the department does not comment on intelligence matters. That would have been the answer. So if somebody asked that questions, it doesn't have to be technology. It could have been anything. Is there evidence of extraterrestrials? Could you tell us? We don't comment on intelligence matters. You know, they could have, you know, they could present the answer any way they want, just as long as they stick within the instructions here, the guidelines. But they're not saying yes, and they're not saying no. That means yes. Yes. The answer was always yes, though. It was always yes. I mean, in the past, when somebody from the military, like say in the 60s, you know, said something like, yeah, there's no evidence of that. That means they were lying then. They were lying. You know, probably, you know, as far as they're concerned, it was for good purpose. But now, again, with this slow disclosure, this is what you're getting. They're not commenting on that right now. This is getting, again, we're getting closer to that line. They didn't cross it yet. They're getting close. We're getting closer to that line. Very, very interesting. But yeah, check out those links. Check out the video on the Black Vault YouTube channel. And he also has you can read the entire document there. It's very interesting.